Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of GoodCards.dek. This is going to be a segment where I show you really good decks that I've found and some that I've built myself, such as this deck right here. This deck is the Cosmoblazer version of spellcasters, prophecies, spellbooks, whatever you want to call them. I think this is going to be really good post Cosmoblazer, and so I wanted to show it off, kind of advertise why the Cosmoblazer cards are so good. So here we are, we're going to kick it off with the monsters. First we have 2 Breaker. This is the MST, and it also baits warnings really well, otherwise I'm going to pop it. And it's also really good Spellbook of Life fodder for especially Priestess and Reaper. Next we have Chaos Sorcerer. We run this instead of both BLS and Chaos Sorcerer because Chaos Sorcerer can be protected by Spellbook of Wisdom, can be boosted by Spellbook of Power, and special summoned by Spellbook of Life. Next we have 1 copy of Copycat. What's great about this card is that if it's at all summoned, mostly by Spellbook Tower, you copy your opponent's monster's attack and defense. When your turn comes, you can boost this card with power, attack over their highest attacking monster, do 1000 damage, and search for a spell card. Another good use for this card is that it, in combination with Veiler, creates Formula Synchron, which helps you synchro again into something and drawing a card in the process. It's also another easy Spellbook of Life fodder, and you can pump it and protect it, like I said. Next card is Veiler. It also can be automatically special summoned by Tower's effect if they early game MST it, because Tower counts itself as 1 copy of a Spellbook card when it hits the graveyard. It's also easy Spellbook of Life fodder and promotes synchro plays. Next we have Fool of Prophecy. His effect is pretty new, so I'm going to read it off. Once per turn, you can send 1 Spellbook spell card from your deck to the graveyard. During the end phase of a turn in which you activate that effect, if 5 or more Spellbook spell cards with different names are in your graveyard, you can tribute this card and special summon 1 level 5 or higher dark spellcaster type monster from your deck. So you're going to select the spellbook card to mill, and then when you have 5 different names, you're going to tribute it off for Reaper of Prophecy. So next we have Priestess. This is the boss monster of the deck. Every turn you can pop a card, and there's a loop with its effect, so I'm going to explain that right now. First, you have to have Priestess on the field, Secrets in the graveyard, Eternity in hand, and Tower on the field. So every turn you're going to pop a card by banishing Secrets. Then you're going to activate Eternity to add the banished Secrets to your hand. During your next standby phase, you're going to activate Grand Spellbook Tower's effect and put Eternity into the deck. And then during your main phase, search for Eternity. Secrets will be in the graveyard at this time. Use it as banishing fodder for a Priestess, and then add it back to your hand with Eternity, and continue to do this once per turn. Another reason why Priestess is great is because it can make Big Eye, Dyson Sphere, or Gustav Max. Next card we have is Justice. This is an old card, so I won't read the effect, but you banish it to add Priestess and a Spellbook card to your hand, because this activates during the end phase. Next turn you might be able to have a free Priestess on the field, so I like that a lot. Next we have 2 Maxi. This is just really to pump Tragodia and gain hand advantage, because the more cards in hand, the more you're going to be able to do when your turn comes. Next we have Reaper of Prophecy. This is another win condition of the deck. It's basically the level 6 tour guide of the deck also. If you get it off late game, which is when I suggest you use it most, then you'll be able to have a whole bunch of effects, so I'm going to read them off. You can only use the effect of Reaper of Prophecy once per turn. When this card is normal or special summoned, you can apply the following effect, depending on the number of Spellbook spell cards in your graveyard. If you have 3 or more, this card gains 600 attack. If you have 4 or more, you have 2600 attacker, and you add a Spellbook spell card to your hand. If you have 5 or more, you're 2600 Stratos, and you special summon a level 5 or higher dark spellcaster type monster. So the very first time, kind of like how when Tour Guide was at 3, you would go Tour Guide Sangan. And so this is your Sangan, if you think about it. It's another level 6, 2500 attack, can be special summoned, normal summoned, anything like that. So you're going to use Reaper of Prophecy to special summon Prophecy Destroyer. You're going to do 51 damage, and then you're going to exceed summon into Photon Strike Bouncer. I think that's an amazing play, and I love it. If you want, you can even add a second rank 6 for when you do Reaper of Prophecy the second time. Next card we have is Spellbook Magician of Prophecy. This is a searchable Stratos. It's easy Spellbook of Life fodder, and it's a very good target for Wonder Wand. Next card we have is Temperance. It's very good for early game Priestess or late game Reaper. And it's also very easy Spellbook of Life fodder. Next card we have is Tragodia. It's extremely defensive, one of the better hand traps in the game. But you can't run Gores because you run 2 field spell. For the spells, we have 1 Dark Hole and 1 Monster Reborn. No Heavy Storm, because if you Heavy Storm your own field spell, then you won't get the effect. We have Spellbook of Eternity, like I explained. 1 Spellbook of Fate, because it's a great card to use, but you can recycle it with Tower and then search it later. And it's really only good once or twice in one game anyway, so you main one inside the second. Then we play 2 Spellbook of Life, because it's recyclable, and it's just a really great card. It's like Premature Burial. You banish a spellcaster, then you reveal a spellbook, and you special summon any spellcaster. It's really great. Next card we have is Power. I only run 2. It's kind of cloggy at 3. You don't always need it, and if you do, you can always search for it. So it just boosts by 1,000, which is really good because this deck has a lot of trouble getting over 25 and higher attack position monsters in battle phase. So. And we have 3 secrets because it's necessary. It gets all your combos going, really gets the deck rolling. Next we have Spellbook of Master. This is a new card, so I'm going to read the effect. If you control a face-up spellcaster type monster, you can reveal 1 other Spellbook spell card in your hand to target 1 Spellbook normal spell card in your graveyard, except Spellbook of the Master. This card's effect becomes the same as the target's original effect. You can only activate 1 Spellbook of the Master per turn. So this is what really makes the deck. You're going to use this to copy secrets, so you load the graveyard very well. So even turn 2, you might be able to special summon Justice or Temperance and get your deck rolling. Next I run 2 Spellbook of Wisdom because it's recyclable, and it's kind of like the Lance of the deck, but you don't lose 800 attack points, so the side effect of using this card is that you have to choose protection between spell or trap for the turn. Next I run 2 Spellbook of Tower. The reason I run 2 and not 3 or 1, if I ran 1 I'd run Gores, and I don't run 3 because it's too many. I run 2 because you can activate the first one and sit on that for a while, getting 2 draws per turn. And if this one gets destroyed, you'll plus by special summoning a monster, and then you can activate the second one and recycle the first, just in case the second one gets destroyed again. Next card we have is Wonder Wand. Basically, if any card is like, say, Fiendish Chained or something along those lines, you can activate this card, give yourself a draw 2. It's really good. And it also boosts attack so you can get over bigger dudes. And I run 1 Magician's Circle. Some people like to run Treacherous Trapple. I think that's also a very good option. But in this deck, where we want to get Reaper of Prophecy on the field as fast as possible, using all 3 of its effects, this is a great card. It's very old, but I'm going to read it anyway. When a spellcaster type monster declares an attack, each player special summons 1 spellcaster type monster with 2,000 or less attack from their deck in face-up attack position. So you declare your attack with Temperance, or Priestess, or Magician, whatever you have. You attack, then you special Reaper, then you special Destroyer, and you just do a bunch of damage in one turn. Now for the extra deck, I really like this extra deck, but you can change it as much as you want. I don't mind. I like having both synchro and exceed options. Some people just like exceeding or synchroing, whatever floats your boat. But this is what I suggest. 1 Armory Arm, 1 Cataster, 1 Gaia, 1 Black Rose, 1 Stardust Dragon, and 1 Formula Synchron for the synchros. For the exceeds, we have 1 Shining. I picked Shining over Gotchi because it's a spellcaster, so you can protect and pump it and special summon it just like any of the other cards in the main deck. Then we have 1 Zen Mains, 1 Leviathan, and 1 Levier for the 3s. For the 4, I just picked Abyss Dweller because you can potentially get it boosted to 22, so that's pretty cool. But it's also kind of like a main deck soul drain, just in case you hit those water matchups. But it's also very hard to summon because you only run 2 Breaker, and you can only spellbook a Magician once, really, using Magician as fodder, so it's not that great of a play, but it's an option. For the 7, I have Big Eye. This is a great card. You just bring control something for free, and then it can't attack for the turn. For the 9, we have Dyson Sphere. It's very easy to make with Priestess and using Magician as fodder for Spellbook of Life. And for the 6, we have Photon Strike Bouncer, like I explained before, with Reaper. And for the 10, we have Gustav Max. So this has been our first episode of GoodCards.dek. Really hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below what deck you'd like to see next. Otherwise, I'll just use my own idea. Thank you for watching. Click the subscribe and like button, and I'll see you next time.